It came down to this. My boss gave me an ultimatum. She looked me straight in the eye and she said, "Look, David, I'm sorry, but either you can talk like a girl and bring up your quota, or I'm going to have to let you go." I laughed nervously because I had no idea how I could ever do a convincing female voice just to keep my job as a telephone sex operator. 1988. I'm 22 years old and living in San Diego for maybe a month. I've just left New York City, and outside of a little community college, I really don't know what to do with this part of my life. One thing is certain. One thing is for sure. I look like I'm auditioning for the Ramones all the time. My long hair with bangs in my eyes and the rips in my jeans, well, it left me just a few job prospects. My options were washing dishes, working in a record store, or maybe the exciting world of telemarketing. So when the prospect of being a phone sex worker came up, I immediately said, "Yeah, okay." Now, understand that this job did not require me to audition with some sort of sexy monologue. No, it didn't. I was hired solely because when they asked me if I could work the midnight to 8 a.m. graveyard shift, I said, yes, please. The company that hired me ran local late night television ads, videos of these blonde, buxom young ladies sprawled out on love seats. They played spin the bottle with a glass of champagne in one hand and a telephone in the other. And a woman narrated the voiceovers in the commercial in this sweet tone, saying, "Hey," not in this voice, but "Hey, me and my sexy friends are looking to talk to some exciting, fun men." The phone calls cost $3.99 for 3 minutes of exciting fun. So it was my job, it was my duty as the operator on this sex party line to initiate and to direct exciting, fun, and exciting, sexy talk. And of course, a lot of misleading conversation with the callers. Now the callers are men, mostly guys. Guys looking to perhaps meet or at least talk to sexy, fun ladies. And I, of course, am a guy. I am also like the only guy that works here. So, I dug down deep, like real deep into my less than acceptable customer skills, and I came up with this girl voice. A smoky 2 packs of Marlboros a day, sexy. Maybe pre-cancer. Just a wheezy, raspy kind of "I'm a woman of the world" flavor. This tone, but classy. But it worked. It did. And with some on-the-job practice, I actually sounded kind of somewhat like a believable girl. Just believable enough over the phone after 1 o'clock in the morning. A star was born. Now, in my female voice, I called myself Jennifer. This was after my pet cat, Jenny. I really loved her. And in my natural male voice, I was Joey, and that's Joey Ramone because that's who I was trying to be. And what I learned from working with some of these, some of the real girls, my coworkers in the phone sex office, I learned something new, well, new to me anyway, but not likely new to most girls all over the world. I learned this. Guys will talk about anything, if it means that they will somehow get closer to maybe, just maybe, to getting laid. We talk to hordes and hordes of guys without hardly ever getting into dialogue that was too sexual. This is what I learned. As long as the caller thought the fun and exciting girls on the other end of the phone were there to maybe, just maybe, meet them, then it was just a lot of small talk. Chicken shit like first date stuff. Like where you went to school, your favorite music, your favorite color, what color is your underwear, your favorite movie, etc., etc. Again, this is just 3 minutes at a time until the phone would automatically shut off, cut them off, and then a recording would come on encouraging them to call right back to speak to some more fun and exciting women. There was no shortage of guys, of course, that just wanted to tell you, they just want to tell you how swollen their balls were. Or, what are you wearing? Came up all the time. What are you wearing? So, guys, truly, we are clueless, pathetic. I include myself in this. And for girls, I had this new empathy for you. I really do. Now, for every 25 guys that were calling the phone sex line, there were actually a few girls calling in too. And a couple of those few girls were calling in to speak to me. Well, Joey anyway. And for 3 minutes at a time. A few years earlier than this, I was just coming of age. I barely lost my virginity at 19. I definitely suffered from acute low self-esteem. I had bad skin, a big nose, I'm too tall, I'm too skinny, I can't play sports. I don't even know how to play sports. So in high school, I just really felt shunned, and internally I always felt being judged and just low self-esteem, man. By anyone who was like remotely popular, and of course especially girls. So what I do, I grew my hair long, and I found great escape in playing drums and playing punk rock and just thinking, what would Joey Ramone do? But now I'm in San Diego. I'm in this shitty paying job whose customer base were also lonely, desperate people. Still struggling with self-esteem, talking 3 minutes at a time with hundreds of others who were as clueless as me. Exciting and fun people. Sometimes the girls that I talked to would even ask if we could meet in person so we could do more than just talk. But despite the rosy descriptions those girls gave me over the phone, I had no delusions. I was quite confident that if I met these girls in person, that they would be just like me. Me and Jennifer. Shitty liars. The phone sex office I worked in, it was tucked somewhere down in southeast San Diego, and it did have one master rule. There was one rule, one single rule that we're all supposed to abide by. And this was, do not ever, don't, under any circumstance, give out the address or location of this office. Don't ever do that. Please. And again, everything else was fair game, as long as we didn't break this rule. It was in a framed notice on every desk. Because to meet any of these people in person was a fireable offense and probably a bad idea either way. As an operator, on the sexy fun party line, you would get your regular callers that would focus only on talking to you, the operator. My biggest fan, or more accurately, Jennifer's biggest fan, was a guy named Todd. A Star is Born. In real life, I've never actually met a guy named Todd that I remotely even liked. If you're married to a Todd or you're standing next to one, I'm sorry. There's just something about that name, Todd. So on the phone sex party line, I always had the option of speaking either as Joey or as Jennifer. But when Todd called in and he was on the line and he heard me as Joey speaking, Todd would immediately make it clear that he was only calling to speak to Jennifer. For sure, Todd hated me. And I knew it was true because Todd would tell me. And this is all in his own words, by the way. Hey, faggot. I think you're a faggot. Plus, I don't like you. Now let me talk to Jennifer, faggot. Todd was calling from Lakeside, obviously. Todd worked as a drywall hanger on construction sites all over East County. Todd was easily spending hundreds of dollars a month calling Jennifer every weekend. Todd had horrible taste in music. He loved Toto and Styx and Toto. Todd had horrible taste in movies. Chuck Norris movies, but not ironically. No, he just really loved Chuck Norris. Todd's hero, Hulk Hogan. And Todd drove a big truck. I always imagined he had one of those no fear stickers that guys like Todd thought was really badass. And Todd never apologized for nothing. And Todd hated me. But more than that, Todd absolutely adored and rather pathetically really, really liked Jennifer. He had a big crush on her. And it was almost heartwarming if you only heard him speak to her. Todd was always a gentleman. On the line when I spoke as Jennifer, complete gentleman, telling me as Jennifer that he would love to take her out to dinner, a nice movie. Todd was just kind of just a big like, oh shucks, little lady. Just this kiss-ass brown nose. Sometimes, I would sometimes tell Todd as Jennifer to take it easy on Joey. Just stop being so mean to that guy. But his response was always so, oh, come on now, Jenny. That guy's just a faggot. Again, totally fun and exciting people. The bigger truth is that I've known some sort of a Todd for years. Starting in elementary school, Todd was that kid that would gun a dodgeball in my face right after not picking me to be on his team. Todd was that other kid in middle school that would steal my lunch and eat it in front of me. Todd was that same shit stain in high school that threw a milk carton at me from the window of his Camaro in the parking lot. So chatting with this Todd now on a phone sex party line just a few years later, this was nothing short of a goddamn miracle. A goddamn miracle. So sometimes, just for kicks, and mostly just to rile up Todd, because he thought that Joey and Jennifer worked in the same office together, I would use my regular Joey voice to tell Todd what a great ass Jennifer had. Or when he would tell me, just shut up and go get Jennifer, faggot. I would use these opportunities to stall him and make him call back after 3 minutes. I would tell Todd that his precious Jennifer was in the bathroom taking a giant shit, stinking up the place. And this drove Todd mental. Because he liked her in such a East County Mongoloid, all gentleman-like way, you know? Just the best courteous manner he could muster. Because he never crossed the line of decency or anything sexually inappropriate with Jennifer. And maybe, this is where Todd fucked up. Because to Jennifer, Todd had locked himself into the friend zone. The $3.99 a call friend zone. Way to go, Todd. I did finally lose patience and all sanity with Todd. And I decided to tell him the truth. Tell him the truth about Jennifer and me being the same person. We were going to break up. But honestly, it wasn't as fun as I thought it would be. It seemed like hours to explain it to him. Until he finally realized my explanation of the truth. Because he liked her in such a chivalrous and old-fashioned way. But mostly I realized that Todd just wasn't very bright. But the last words I did hear from Todd, verbatim, right before he hurled the phone down, were, "Well, at least I know I ain't no faggot." Fucking classic Todd. So there was a girl that would call, and she would call me almost regularly. A girl named Sarah from Poway or some shit. She was unusual to me anyway, in that unlike some of the other girls that called in, she had this way, a way about herself. She wasn't interested in impressing me. Maybe it was her laugh. Maybe it was the way she said, "I just really like talking to you." I liked her grin because I could sense it through the phone. And I really enjoyed our conversations. It was something, though. So after talking for a few weeks, I did something for the first time. I gave Sarah the free private number of the office phone so we could talk for more than 3 minutes at a time. Not like all those other weirdos, you know? So we're both 22 years old, but Sarah was married. She was married to the same guy she went to the prom with. He was a football player and she was a cheerleader. She sounded like the popular girl in high school. The kind that intimidated me. The one that made me nervous. But on the phone, I really felt at ease with her. She was bored and alone at home, even with her husband. That's what she explained to me. So she asked if we could meet for real. She asked and I agreed. Bad decisions were definitely in order. Late into the shift one night, I gave Sarah the address to the secret and the coveted phone sex office. The place was a real dump. In a neighborhood of just check cashing places and liquor stores. And I told her to call me from the payphone from across the parking lot when she got there. I had no idea if Sarah was what I thought she was. To be catfished is not out of the question. I'm sure I deserve it. Whatever happens is just whatever. I've been at this job like 6 months and I was ready for, well, whatever. And from the second story window, I could see the payphone under the street lamp of 2 a.m. There's a car parked, and I watched someone creep closer to the payphone. Yeah, it was her. I smiled, and I gushed as Sarah, because she was what I had hoped she would be. this girl next door, you know? This carefree married woman. The blind date I'd never been on before. I saw her down on the payphone, and I heard the office line ring seconds later. And I'm still nervous as I answer this call. So in my best ransom voice, my best ransom exchange voice, I tell her, go into the store, grab some wine coolers, I'll be right there. And I'm filled with butterflies, but on top of these butterflies, I was giddy. Just giddy with meeting someone who makes you laugh, someone you know. You're gonna like him, but you haven't met him yet. But you're gonna like him, even before you lay eyes on him for the first time. Oh, to be dirty pen pals, united in the instance of youth and infidelity. And soon after our first hello, we fell to the never ever vacuumed floor in the phone sex office. And there was no place I would rather be at that moment. In these throes of consumption and recklessness and wine coolers. And next I did something I couldn't resist. I placed the phone sex party line receiver next to us on the floor. And the receiver picked up our heavy breathing and mutual giggling and filled it with some real exciting and fun times. Some good audio for perhaps the first time ever at the phone sex party line. And I thought, that should bring my quota right up. So like an hour earlier than I expected, I heard my boss unlocking the front office door. Trying to recover our clothes off the carpet, it was too late. My boss let me know I was fired by the way she kicked the empty wine cooler bottles. Sarah apologized for getting me in trouble. But I meant it when I said, no, it's okay. It was time. It was time anyway. So some jobs have perks like Hawaiian shirt day or fucking casual Friday or Taco Tuesday or something. But my perk here was that, at least for a few moments anyway, I lost my fear of rejection for the moment. And yeah, I had broken the rule of telling somebody our secret location, but the real secret I learned was that I needed someone to tell me, we all do, to tell me I was funny, I was silly, I was clever, that they liked me, they liked the way I laughed, and that I was desired. Yes, that's what the callers were paying for. But I was looking for that too. I'm just as guilty as any old Todd.
That was David Latham.